ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so last time, if you remember, we were looking at Ameyatma, wherein how the Lord's Mahima, that how he is compared to the ocean that has been described. Those who missed the last class, please refer to the previous audio. So today from this Nama onwards, Mahadridhig, Mahantam Adrim Mandaram Govardhanam cha Amritamathane Gorakshane cha Dhritavaniti Mahadridhig, Mahadridhig. So basically from this Nama onwards, if you see names associated with Kurma avatar, that is the second avatara out of the Dashavataras that are there. The Lord, when he takes an avatara in the form of a tortoise, that has been described in detail. So the one who he holded the great mountain Mandara or the Govardhana Parvata during the Krishna Avatara times, mainly for Samudra Mantana, churning of the ocean, or in order to protect the cows and the people of Gokula, he lifted the Govardhana mountain. So one who, you can say basically one who lifts up mountains, or maybe who carries a mountain on his back for protecting the world. That is the meaning of this Maha Adridhik. Maha Adridhik. So now for this there is a story. Now the story is actually the same, the Kurmavatara story that takes place. But before that, there is something. Now, once it so happened that all the gods and asuras they knew that the ocean had to be churned in order to take it. Now, there was a time that came in wherein there was only, you can say, gloominess, or everything was just dark and gloomy all around. So, at that time, that was because all the good things, jewels, prosperity, everything had gone under the ocean. Goddess Mahalakshmi herself was under the ocean. There is no place for Goddess Mahalakshmi, there is no place for prosperity at all. So it was those times wherein there was nothing around in the world, no jewels, gems, nothing auspicious, nothing prosperous, or nothing you can say wealthy also. So at that time, the only solution that was there was we had to churn the ocean. There were a lot of gems inside the ocean, and to bring all of that out, we needed to churn the ocean. So at that time, what happened is, to churn something, you need a churning rod, right? So if you say, maybe not much in today's times, but we always have this or at least we will still have it in our houses. Maybe we don't use it longer. The churning, the what do you call it? What do you call what do you call it? Churning rod that we used to churn the milk and so on. In English, what do you call that? I hope all of you got it right. If you want, I'll show you a picture. In English, I don't know what it is called. Matte that we say. What is that called? Mathni, yeah, Mathni, Mathil is all similar to that. So basically, in short, what I mean is the churning rod that we have in order to churn milk, in order to, you can say, bring out curd, butter, and so on, which Yashoda used to do. So that is the churning rod which used to be used. Even in your houses, also, if you see in the kitchen, even though we don't use it much, most of us we might have it, or maybe a few years back, we had the churning rod that was being used to extract butter, curds, etc. from milk. And as per Mattu Kadayardu, yes, that is called in Tamil, but I don't know in English what. I think the churning rod is the right one. So coming back, so basically what in Krishna Avatara times you had the women of Gokula, including Yashoda and so on. Why they used to do this very, you can say, curds, butter, and so on. It was a very auspicious way of doing things, and even as per Vastu Shastram also, if you see now, if you would have seen those Krishna Leela serials or movies, you will know how those women churn the milk, right? You have a like a pot kind of a thing, then a stick that is a big churning rod, not the small one that we have in our houses. Then with those two ropes, they keep churning, they keep pulling the milk, and then it keeps twisting, turning, and that's how butter and curds come out, right? So the point is, through this, what we get to see is a lot of butter or churning that takes place. Because of that, the milk turns into butter. So this is actually Vastu Shastram, and as Vastu Shastram is nothing but in our house now. There are say for example, you need the puja area. So puja area is set up at a particular place. Maybe you have the washrooms at a particular place. So like that, there are certain. Usually, if you see, whenever we buy a house, also we don't have the, you can say, like nowadays in some places it is there, but usually maybe opposite the kitchen also you don't have the washroom, right? washroom or the bathroom, we don't have it very near. Maybe you have it one in the bedroom, or even if it is there in the common area, it will not be, or maybe near the door you have the washroom, main door. We don't have that. This is something related to Vastu Shastra. That is, there is certain place where things are to be kept. Or you will not have the bedroom first, or not the kitchen first. You have the hall, right? Then maybe you go inside a little, you have the kitchen and so on. Nowadays, of course, there are a few things you have everything open. You can see the kitchen from outside and so on. That is another concept. But as per Vastu Shastra, there is certain places where certain things have to be kept. So the same thing has been mentioned, and in that Vastu Shastram, it seems that there is a mention of where this churning rod and how curds, butter, etc. should be churned, where that all should be kept, the entire vessel and the entire setup should be there. That also has been mentioned in Vastu Shastram, and people used to follow that. So it has got a lot of importance, this churning part that is there. So the same thing happened for the Devas and Asuras also. They too, they wanted to churn the ocean in order to get back, take out all the gems that were there inside the ocean. Now to churn something, a churning rod is needed. That is, they used the Mandara mountain. The Mandara Parvata was used as a churning rod. Now, who will bring the Mandara mountain? It was very heavy from the Himalayas of to bring it down. That's when all the Devas they tried, they failed. The Asuras they tried, they failed. So Lord Vishnu himself, he comes to help them. And Vishnu, he tells Garuda that you go and lift this mountain. Garuda tried his best. Garuda also could not do that. Finally, what Vishnu tells us, he tells Garuda, you put in more efforts. Vishnu blesses Garuda. Vishnu gives him more strength. And Garuda finally, he could lift the mountain Mandara and he kept it in the ocean. There is no instance of Kurma Avatara. Even before Kurma Avatara also, Vishnu tells Garuda this instance come wherein Devas and Asuras, they go, they tell Vishnu that we need this Mandara mountain. We have put in efforts, we could not bring it. That's when Vishnu tells Garuda. So even before Kurma Avatara also, the Lord had, with the help of Garuda, with the help of the Lord, he had brought down the Mandara mountain. Now finally the Mandara mountain has been bought, it was kept. It was kept in midst of the ocean, it kept floating. Now there should be a proper base, right? You keep something on water, it will keep floating, that is, it will keep moving. We need a proper strong base. For that, now again, all the gods, they rushed back to Vishnu. Vishnu says, okay, I will take an avatara as Kurma avatara now, as a balance. So Kurma avatara took place on the Kurma, that is on the tortoise. The Mandara mountain was placed. Now everything is done. Now you need a churning rope, that is it. For that, Vasuki himself comes down as a churning rope, and then the Samudra Manthana story goes about. So that this is how the churning actually takes place of the ocean. The Samudra Manthanam takes place. That's when all the jewels and all other auspicious things they come out. And Lord, in order to save the worlds, you can say, or save the gods from, or to help them in journeying the ocean, he took an avatara as a Kurma. So this is the story of Kurma avatara. So coming back to the Nama, Mahadridrik, one who holds Mahan Adridrik. Mahan is a great mountain or a big mountain on his back. One who holds that, that is how the Lord gets his Nama, Mahadridrik. So the Nama is Mahadridrite Namaha. Mahadridrite Namaha is the Nama. And the Phalashruti is to live a very good life. And you can say there are many hurdles or there are many problems that come in our life, just as it came in the lives of the Devas, Asuras, and so on. But the Lord through different forms. Like firstly, twice he helped the lords, gods, right? That first is he told Garuda, you bring the Mandara mountain. Secondly, even after the mountain was bought, they could not do. That is, there was no proper base. So the Lord took the form of a Kurma and he helped the gods and the Asuras churn the ocean. So one who carried the mountain, in fact, twice, and also later, like in the Krishna Avatara stories, he carried the Govardhana Parvata. So in many instances, one who comes in order to help his devotees by going to the extent of even carrying mountains on his back, that is the Nama, Mahadrutrite Namaha, and the Parashruti is just as the Lord helped the gods. Similarly, he will also help us. We will also be able to lead a good life with all our problems and things that are gone away. So this is the significance of this Nama, Mahadritriku. Okay, would everyone follow this? Yes? Okay. So total number of Namas was 19, 159. In fact, it has gone up a bit, 170, 180, it is already. Till this verse, they have just calculated. So next we start. Verse number 20. महेश्वासो महीभर्ता श्रीनिवासः सताङ्गतिः अनिरुद्धः सुरानन्दो गोविन्दो गोविदाम्पतिः 8 namas in this shloka. Maheshwasaha, Mahanishwasaha, Ikshushepaha, Yasya Saha Maheshwasaha. One who you can say is known for launching great missiles or arrows. Now, whenever we talk about bow and arrow and so on, in fact, just to give you a significance of from the previous Nama, Mahadridrika, which talks about Kurma Avatara, we have a lot of shlokas in praise of Lord Kurma. Like you have the Dashavatara Stotram by Vedanta Deshika, many other Dashavatara Stotras. Then you have the mention of Kurma Avatara in Jayadeva's Ashtapadi. I don't know. Anyone is familiar with Ashtapadi? Have you learned? So the first Ashtapadi itself, if you see, Pralaya Payodhi Jale Hare Mukunda, in that the second verse. क्षितिरति विपुलतरे हरे मुकुन्द तव तिष्ठति पृष्ठे धरणिधरणकिरणचक्रगरिष्टे केशवादृत कूर्मशरीरा जय जगदीश हरे और केशवादृत कच्छपरूपा जय जगदीश हरे and so on it goes on. So this is Kurmavatara significance. So here it is clearly mentioned Kshitirati Vipulatare. Kshitirati is when the ocean had to be churned at the time. Tavatishtati Prishthe, on your back, the mountain was carried. So this is the significance there. So Jayadeva was also mentioned as in his Ashtapadi. Then you have specific stotras like the Kurmavatara stotra. You have a Purana itself, Kurma Purana. We have already seen. Few of us we had seen in the Purana sessions. So the point is, Kurma Avatara as such has got a lot of significance. In the Vishnu Sahasranama also, if you see, there are almost close to 10 to 15 namas significantly for Kurma Avatara. Okay, so now next nama, Maheshwasa. Now here you have the mention of arrows that has been made. Now arrows, whenever you see arrow or bow, Rama Avatara should come in front of us. So here what is the significance is, now, if you go to temple, say for example, you go to the Sharangapani temple in Kumbakonam, Tamil Nadu, or any temple. Now, whenever you see Rama, though you see Rama with a bow and a quiver of arrows, there is not much importance that is given to the arrows. The bow is known, right? Sharangapani, we say. The name of Rama's bow or Vishnu's bow is Sharanga. But here what happens is, some devotees they had a problem, it seems, that when they went to this Sharangapani temple or any Vishnu temple, when you have the seva like the Brahmotsava or Rathotsava, things like that that are done, different vahanas, at that time you have this in the Sharangapani form also, wherein the Lord holds the bow in his hand. But only on certain occasions the arrow is placed. Not always the arrow can be seen. So some devotees they said, why so? If a bow is there, obviously a bow is useless without an arrow, right? So an arrow also should be given much importance. Why this arrow cannot be seen? So basically, whenever you go to a temple, also you see the Lord with the bow. Arrow is not much visible. So for that, a very beautiful explanation was given by Parashara Bhatta. It seems that this arrow, usually what happens is, whenever devotees come to worship me, maybe to a temple or in their own puja areas, what I do is I set out my arrows. So my arrows are gone in order to bless the devotees, or in order to I shoot my arrows at devotees. What is the meaning of this is, whenever devotees come to worship me, be it in a temple or maybe in our own home worship that we do, those arrows are actually significant in removing all our papa or sins that are there. Now, basically, if you see all the different asuras, maybe Rama killed asuras, be it Ravana or be it all the other asuras who were there, in order to remove their papa karma or their sins, the arrows were shot in, right? Apart from that, the Lord does not have any, you can say, any form of entertainment or any happiness in shooting arrows without reason. There was surely some purpose behind that. So that's the reason it seems that whenever we go to temples or in those different vahanas, the arrow cannot be seen, because whenever devotees come and worship, the Lord sets out his arrow, it seems, on devotees. He shoots the arrows at the devotees. This is significant. Significant in the sense it means that in order to remove all the papa karma or sins that are there, the Lord he shoots an arrow to remove the papa karma that is there. Now here this mention. Now, when this is done, what happens is you have Daya Devi. Who's Daya Devi? Now, this reference comes in Daya Shatakam. Daya Shatakam, again written by Vedanta Deshika. I think Daya Shatakam, verse number 28, 28, I suppose. करुणे दुरितेषु मामकेषु प्रतिकारान्तर दुर्जरेषु खिन्नः कवचागिता कवचागितया त्वयैव शार्ङ्गी विजयस्थानम् उपाश्रितो वृषाद्रिम्. Later, if you want, you can note it down. Just note down the reference. Why is here you have the reference of the Sharanga bow that is there. That is here it says that Karune Duriteshu Mamakeshu Kavachayitaya Tvayaiva. Daya Devi here is like a kavacha. Now, whenever we shoot arrows, you would have seen, right, in wars also, an armor. The warriors usually they use a armor. That is nothing but a kavacha. Is when the enemy attacks, maybe with a sword or so, you just put the armor in front, you will be protected from that. Right? So here Daya Devi or goddess Mahalakshmi, she is Daya Devi is nothing but goddess Mahalakshmi. So another name for goddess Mahalakshmi is Daya. So at this point of time, she is like a kavacham who's there. So whenever the Lord he shoots arrows at us in order to remove our papa karma, maybe that can be even severe. Right? He might punish us. So at that time, Daya Devi she comes there as a kavacham and she reduces the intensity of the punishment. It seems maybe no, let us not maybe not directly killing the person, but maybe some punishment or sometime you might have to suffer and then you come out. So this is very significant, wherein just as now different problems and hurdles come in our life, right? We sit and complain always. My life is full of problems, my life is full of hurdles, I'm not able to come out of situations. We have to be happy that all of the Papa Karma are going out, it seems. The Lord, He's shooting an arrow at us to remove all our sins. Daya Devi comes as a kavacham in order to reduce the intensity of the sins. And when Papa Karma is being, that is when we are suffering a bit in life, problems, hurdles come in, it is as if our papas or the sins are going away. We had discussed, right? I think in the Ramayana sessions also we had seen how the cycle of karma comes about, the Sanchita karma and so on. Some karma or something we have accumulated from the past births which we are carrying forward. Same thing, a very simple example in our life is all the different, maybe some wealth that we have now, it's not, or maybe the house that you live in, or some wealth which will be there, it might not belong to you. It might belong to your father, it might belong to our forefathers. We are carrying maybe some ancestral property, some land in the native also. It doesn't belong to you, but for generations together, it has been carried forward. The same thing is being, and then based on that, maybe if it is in a good condition, it is fine. Or maybe if it has been the proper formalities and things have been done proper, you can say it has been named after people, the right distribution is done, it is fine. Otherwise, till date, maybe my forefather bought it back about a, you can say about 100 years back, but till date I am fighting for that. Two, three brothers are fighting for that piece of land. This is what? This is karma. You don't have anything to do with it. Your forefather did that, but you have accumulated that. Till date, you are fighting for that. Right? So this, our papa karmas or good karmas, not only papa, punya papa karmas are like that. We bring about from our previous births. Maybe we don't know, we cannot remember what we did in our previous births, but we bring along certain things, right? So the same thing is applicable even for karmas. Just as we have some property or some wealth, maybe we are not directly responsible for that. Now for punya papa karmas, we are actually directly responsible. Only difference is we don't remember what we did in our previous birth. We don't remember, but that surely has an impact on our current birth. So coming back, the point is whenever we face something in life, we must not get dejected. Dejection is going to happen. We do feel sad. Why all problems are coming in my life and so on. This is human nature. But we have to be happy that bad things or you can say troubles are coming. Slowly my papa karma is reducing and good karma is will come soon for all the good deeds that have done. So one who shoots an arrow in order to remove all our sins, goddess Rama Devi or Daya Devi, she is there like a kavacham in order to protect us. All our sins will go away soon. Now, whenever the arrow is shot by the Lord, it is always for a good purpose, it seems. So, again, a few people will question here how come Ravana was an evil man, right? Now, we devotees are at least good. We commit few mistakes, few sins here and there, for that we get punishments, it's fine. But for even asuras, whenever we say that the Lord shoots arrows for a good purpose only, what about Ravana? Even in the case of Ravana also, to remove his papa karma only, the arrow was shot at him. Or even all the, in fact, in the Janasthana, when the Lord killed about, you can say, roughly close to 14,000 asuras, Khara, Dushana, Trishiras, and all the other soldiers, it seems that after they were killed, they were all transformed into sages because they had actually got a curse. That's the reason why they were born as Rakshasas. So that was also actually good karma. That is their Papa karma gone away. They were killed for their Papa karma and they now turned into sages. Or even the arrow that was shot at Samudra by Rama. Samudradeva finally just he did his best. He prayed to the Lord. He prayed to Samudradeva. He requested him to give way. The ocean did not listen. At that time, Rama's anger was shown. But the arrow also was not ultimately shot at Samudradeva. He told a place wherein some asuras also were troubling him. Rama shot again to remove some papa karma that was there. Or even the arrow that was shot at Kakasura's eyes. Kakasura, he lost one eye, but later a blessing was given to Kakasura through the grace of Goddess Mahalakshmi, that is Sita. Goddess Mahalakshmi, in the form of Sita, she told that let us forget this Kakasura. He didn't have a very, you can say, a bad intention and so on. Maybe playfully he did it. At that time, the Lord gave him actually the blessing that though you have been born with one eye, your one eye will have the power of two eyes. And for all of us, even after having two eyes properly, we cannot see things, right? Even if it will be in front of us, no, I cannot see where it is, we keep asking, right? So this is the significance. There are like this many examples. I gave you a lot of examples. Samudra Deva, be it Kakasura and so on. So basically, whenever the Lord shoots arrows at his devotees or at Rakshasas and so on, there is some good purpose behind it to remove our Papa Karma or to give blessings, like in the form of, you can say, Samudra Deva. The arrow actually turned into a blessing. The Rakshasas who were actually causing trouble to Samudradeva, they were killed by Rama. Or in the case of Kakasura, though he lost one eye, that one eye got the power of two eyes, which is actually impossible for all the living beings around. Even with two eyes also, we cannot see properly. And so on. So one, Maheshu, Maha Ishu Asaha, that is a breakup. Ishu is actually arrows. So one who shoots, you can say, good arrows or arrows that are shot for good purpose, Maheshwasaha. That is the meaning here. And the significance of this Nama is to remove all our papa karma that are there, to remove all the sins that are there. Maheshwasaya Namaha is a nama. Phalashruti is to remove all the papa or all the evil sins that one commits in life. Okay. Could everyone follow this nama? Maheshwasa. Yes. Mahibharta. Next. Maheshwaso Mahibharta. Ekarana Vaplutam Devi Mahim Babhareti Mahibharta. Here you have a bit of Varaha Avatara reference. One who lifted goddess mother earth from, you can say, Patal Loka and brought her back, that is Mahibharta. Or one who has a power of supporting or lifting up all, you can say, everything, devotees like us, the entire world, and also Prithvi Devi herself, the one who has got this power, that is Mahibharta. Here you have a very beautiful, or you can say, an interesting story behind this. Garuda, once what happens is, Garuda has got two wives, Rudra and Sukirti. These are the two names of Garuda's wives. So now, as usual, now both of them were partners. Now, for birds, if you see, just as for animals, tail, T-A-I-L, tail is a very, very important or crucial part of the body. Similarly, can anyone guess what is a crucial part of for a bird? Which body part? Sorry, wings. What else? Beak, beak, beak of the bird. Chanchuru. Beak for a bird is something very unique, right? Wings are also there, wings and beak. So now basically Garuda, what used to happen is Rudra and Sukirti, they had a problem with Garuda, saying that whenever they used to maybe spend some intimate time with each other or so close time, at that time Garuda's beak used to poke at them. It's just like now we have a pointed object in front of us. If you go very near to a person while speaking also, it will pick them, right? It will poke and then they'll tell, go, please go far away, something is pricking and so on. Or sometimes even if we have big nails also, but if you just touch a person also, maybe you don't have an intention of maybe causing harm, but still they tell that no, your nails are pricking, right? So the same thing happened with Garuda's wives also, and they had a problem. They said, "Why is your nose so sharp?" This it was very very sharp. It used to prick. It seems. So at that time, Garuda he gave an answer. This is how it is. And now, just as we have these knives and so on, right? Knives, scissors, and so on, we do sharpen them frequently. I don't know whether it happens in other states, other cities also. At least in Mumbai, it does happen. You have those specific people who come in with their cycles in order to sharpen the knives that are there. So you go to them and maybe give them, and they will sharpen it frequently, maybe once in 2 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. You tell them to sharpen the knives because after some time the knives they lose, right? Lose their sharpness, they become blunt. So that's the reason you tell them, and those people they will sharpen and give you. So Garuda also it seems, or even animals like cats, you will see, like people who take care of pets also, you will know. For cats, sometimes people give them like a specific a sponge kind of a thing, right, to sharpen their nails. For cats at the time, even on the ground also they will uh, keep sharpening. they'll keep rashing their nails on the floor so that the nails become very sharp, right? So this is a tendency for animals also to sharpen things. So the same thing happened in the case of Garuda. This beak also. Now beak is a very very crucial part of animals, for birds especially. Right? Wings are there, but in order to attack someone or to retaliate, to fight back, beak is something which is very important. A bird comes and it will cause you harm through its beak. Right? So he used to also sharpen his beak, and that's the reason why it used to become very pointed, and it used to cause trouble to his wives Rudra and Sukirti. So they have this problem. They complain to Garuda. So Garuda says that this is how is the nature that is there. I go all around to Patala, and there what I do is, so they ask him, where do you sharpen your beak like this and come? It is so causing so much of trouble to us. So he tells that I go down to Patala, and there Kurma is present there. Kurma Avatara, the Lord in the form of Kurma, he is present there, and on his back I actually scratch and come my nose. So now both the wives of Garuda, they said, what is this? The Lord of the three words, Kurma, is present there, and you go and you just go there to just scratch your beak and come. What is this? What nonsense? Is the Lord meant for this? And so on. So here Garuda says that you must not look at this concept, just as now for all of us also, like all of us, Rudra and Sukirti also question Garuda. Because the Lord meant for sharpening your nose and so on. It's not like that. But then Garuda here gives an answer that the Lord only has paved his way this way. He has only destined this for me. And why this? Why now? Again, Garuda, Rudra and Sukirti, the wives of Garuda, was surprised. How will someone tell you come and scratch your nose on my back? How is this even possible? So at that time, Garuda tells that during the Kurma Avatara, what happens is when Kurma was actually balancing the Mandara mountain was being churned right from both sides by the Devas and Asuras. So at that time, he got a good massage on his back, Kurma. So he was so used to that, and now also he needs the same thing. And that's why I go down and I scratch my nose and come back. Now, this is maybe you can consider in a, let's not say in a lighter way, maybe this is a Leela of the Lord. But then to this, there is a very, very deep meaning wherein he says that I go down deep till Patada, I scratch my nose and come because this is how has been destined for me. And the Lord has told me that you always keep your beak sharp because whenever something, some evil thing comes here and there, or some asura, some trouble is being caused, you should always be ready to attack. And this verse, so that is the reason why my beak is always sharp. So again, when we look at such things, we must not feel that the Lord is meant for such, you can say, small things like scratching one's beak, nose, and so on. There is a deep, you can say, meaning behind it. Now, with this topic ends. Again, now Rudra and Sukirti, they have another question. You said that Kurma is mentioned down in Patada. What does he do there? They ask. So, Garuda gives an answer that Kurma, there being Vishnu being present in the form of Kurma, he holds the 14 worlds being in Patada like a base, just as he held the Mandara mountain during the Kurmavatara times. Similarly, now also he is holding the 14 worlds on his back. Now, Rudra and Sukirti, they were smart enough. They said that we have heard that only Adishesha, on whom Lord Vishnu sleeps, he rules the 14 worlds. How come Garuda? He is ruling. Isn't this something different? Now, in fact, in the Vishnu Sahasranama, only in the previous namas, we have seen that Adishesha, he rules over the 14 worlds. That is, he has the 14 worlds on him, on his back. How come now Kurma? How is there a change in this? So this is a question which both Rudra and Sukirti they ask Garuda. So at that time Garuda says that, and this verse comes in Garuda Panchashat. Garuda Panchashat again I think it has been written by Vedanta Deshika only. Garuda Panchashat to be very very specific, I think it is verse number 31. Garuda Panchashat, Panchashat is 50. So 50 verses in praise of Lord Garuda. Uh, I think it is written by Vedanta Deshika or one of the Alvars. I'm not very sure. Maybe you all can check later. There, I think in verse number 31 or so, you have this mention, this entire story that I'm telling that has been mentioned there. So Garuda tells that Adishesha only is the one who you can say carries the four worlds, but below him there is Kurma. So first you have Kurma, on top Adishesha, and then on top all the 14 worlds. Even today, if all of you, if we go to any temple or so where we have the Shesha Vahanam that is there, where you have a special Sannidhi, a special shrine for Adishesha, you will see Kurma below there. Has anyone seen that? Have you noticed? Next time, whenever you go, you should notice. Next time, whenever you go to any temple wherein you have, especially if you go to temples like Vishnu specific temples, there you can see whenever you have the Shesha, Adi Shesha Sannidhi, below that you will always have Kurma. So either a Vigraham or something will be present there. present there to show that on Kurma Adishesha is present and then the 14 worlds are balanced. So Kurma is the base for everything. That's the reason Kurma is there to hold all of us on his back. So this is one meaning that is understood. Rudra and Sukirti, they got their answers. They were very satisfied and happy. Now behind this Garuda, he gives them a further explanation. He tells all this is at a very ground level or a basic level. I'm going down to scratch my beak to make my beak strong, or the Lord is there, Adishesha sitting on him, and so on. But there is surely some deep meaning or purpose behind all this. What is the significance behind this? Is the Lord, why he is present there? Kurmavatara is done, right? The main purpose of Kurmavatara was to balance the Mandara. That is done. Then what is the Lord doing now? There is a significant meaning behind this. What is that? It is that to hold all the worlds. Now, when he holds the 14 worlds on his back, 7 heaven, 7 hell, it means all the people, living creatures on the world, the Lord is supporting. So, Kurma, the Lord in the form of Kurma, it seems that he says, I should always be present in order to support my devotees who are there, support my devotees, support all my creations. That is the reason why I'm present below, on whom all the worlds are present, and I'm supporting the world, it seems. So just my purpose is over, Kurmavatara is over, I should go back to Vaikuntha and sleep in Yoga Nidra posture. That is not there. I should be present for the living world, for my own creations, for my own devotees, to hold them and to support them on my back. So here the significant meaning is when nobody, you can say, supports you, but there is no one, we feel at times we feel lonely, right? There is no one who's there for me. Lord is always present to support his devotees. This he himself highlights through this Nama Mahibhartraya Namaha, meaning one who holds us, one you can say who supports us, who carries us ahead. Many times now, to give you an elaborate explanation, many times what happens is we feel that there is no one, right? There is no one who's there to support me or to listen to me, or whatever. Whatever I do, there's no one there to listen. You can say be along with that and so on. At that time, then someone somewhere comes and maybe motivates us when we feel very demotivated or very lonely, depressed, and so on. There is that one person who comes, and maybe that the person might not be very knowledgeable, great also, but maybe a few words they speak and we feel motivated, we feel yes, I have to start doing things again and so on. So here the point that I'm trying to say is, just as that one person is needed, similarly the Lord who is always present. So he says that the Lord himself highlights here through Garuda, he is giving this explanation to his wives. And then he says there can be many situations that come in man's life or in anyone's life, especially in the case of man, because man is the one who can make out, right? Okay, now a bad situation has come in or a good situation has come in. Animals and other creations, they don't have that awareness. Okay, things have come in, they have to fight for that, they cannot express themselves. But man has got that intellect, he knows to speak, so he can react on things. So the Lord there, he promises that whenever there is no one for the devotees, at that time I am there to support all the devotees. And this Kurma Avatara, that is Kurma who is present in Patala, is significant for this. That's the reason why I am present in Patala. On top of me is Adishesha, and on top of that, all the four worlds are there. So Mahi Bhartraya Namaha. Bharta is actually a protector. Just as a few days back, in the, I think last week, right? In RNM class, I told you about Bharta. Well, somewhere I was telling. Was there was there anyone who listened to that Bharta? Narayana class, right? In the morning batch I was studying. Bharta. So there also some words came in, I don't remember now. Bharta meaning one who protects. So that's the reason why now whenever in general terms, if you see conversational language, Bharta is for husband. So it is not like for the person who is there beside me, or you can say the person who with whom I have a relationship of a husband. Whenever this name Bharata has come, lot of responsibility for all the men out there who are husbands. Why? You have a lot of responsibility on you from the time you are married. I think, yes. I think Goddess Mahalakshmi and Vishnu, they have this conversation wherein Samudra Deva, he tells and he addresses Lord Vishnu that you are the Bharata of my daughter Mahalakshmi, when I hand over to you during Kanyadanam, it means that from today onwards, my daughter is your responsibility. And responsibility doesn't mean that she is fully dependent on you. That is on one part. So here it is very, very important. Today, when we maybe keep names or feminism, this that we speak in, we have to be very, very careful why such names are coming and are told in our languages, be it Sanskrit and so on, and the way we interpret it. Bharata, generally protector, or someone will, people stoop down to this level, one who is dependent. Today's times also, women are also not dependent. And it has got nothing to do with dependency and so on. Your independent, self-sufficient, that is on one side. but a lot of responsibility on the man who is there, from because we have a again a paternal society, bharta meaning protector. So in that case it is, in general, husband is one of the protectors who is there. So a lot of responsibility on the man, saying that today onwards it is your responsibility, you are the bharta, you have to take care, you cannot shun away from that responsibility, let anything come in. So that is the same meaning, mahi bharta, one who is responsible for the whole world, or one who has a power or control. Let's not say control, or you can say one who has got the power to support and lift up the world. That is Mahi Bharta, Mahan Bharta. So Bharta, this term, in normal language we use it for one's husband. But the meaning, deep meaning behind that is one who has got the responsibility of protection, not only on his wife, on his children, entire family, and so on. So that protector is the one which is the meaning of Bharata. Mahi Bharata is the protector or the supporter of all the three worlds. This is a Nama that is addressed for the Lord. Nama is Mahi Bhartre Namaha. Mahi Bhartre Namaha. If we chant this Nama, the Parashruti is the Lord will always hold up with us very strongly, will always support us, and so on. And especially in gloomy times of so, when we feel that there is no one for me, there is nothing for me, nothing is working in my favor, at that time the Lord is there to support. Okay, could everyone follow this Nama? Okay, next. Next is very, very auspicious Nama, Srinivasaha. Today, especially, today is what? Today is Saturday, right? Today, for whomever convenient, you can go to a Vishnu temple nearby, Vishnu Ramakrishna temple. And today is, I think, the Annamale, Bharani Deepam, right? Also, Shiva temple. Any temple that you can go and see if you can light some lamps. You may not go to the temple and light lamp. You can just randomly visit a temple. Maybe take a small lamp with you, light it, use it for 5 minutes, bring back the lamp with you. So this is very auspiciously done today. Few people do it in their houses also. So you can see as convenient. Tomorrow we celebrate the festival of Karti, right? Today and tomorrow, whatever it is. So as you do, that is fine. But apart from that, today being a Saturday and you have this Annamalai Deepam, that is there, the Tiruvannamalai Deepam, so that we can do today. If you do it in a temple, you should not light a lamp and come back. That's the reason why today in most of our temples, if you see, people light lamps here and there, everything is turned out to be black. This is how we destroy our own temples, spoil it. No. You take a lamp with you. So especially people, what they will do is they will make those wheat lamps and so on, they'll just keep it in the temples and they'll come back. But it's a very, very wrong practice. What happens? So much of soot, the black color thing that's there, right? That's the reason why many, in fact, on the day of Annamalai Deepam also at our own houses we must do this. Does anyone of you, do you do that at your houses? You take a big vessel and you light lamp and so on. Put, right? Yeah. Hmm. London. Yeah. So this is also done in few of our houses also, but many people will not do this. Why? Now, if you just imagine, no, just as he said, 365 weeks, the fire and so much of ghee, oil we put in and we light it, so it will turn out to be black, the nearby area. So that's the reason we don't do it in our houses. No, 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 my house will get spoiled. So much of fire, this, that we say. Flame. Same thing is applicable for the temple also. So whenever you go to a temple, like certain things, especially on a Saturday, also if you light lamps, especially for Shanaisharaha people do, or for Hanuman and so on. You light a lamp, you take a mud lamp with you, go to the temple, light. Whenever you go to a temple, 5-10 minutes, whatever you spend time, right? Light it, you keep there, when you come back, you bring along that along with you. It's okay even if you douse the lamp and you bring it back. So why such things are done is we have to follow traditions, but not at the cause of causing trouble. Even the wick that is there, like this Annamalai Deepam, which is falling coming today, we light it, then we ensure, right, the black thing, if anything has come in, we clean it up properly because it is my house. Same thing is not applicable for temples also. That's the reason even today, if you go to temples, especially on the back side of the temples, you see, right? So many people just light it. They'll put those oil, so many stains and all that. See, very, very, very sad thing. But then at least whatever has happened, we cannot change that. But henceforth, we can do. Okay, next Nama Srinivasa. Yasya Vakshasi Annapayini Shrihi Vasati Saha Srinivasa. The one in whose chest goddess Mahalakshmi or goddess Shrihi always resides, that is Srinivasa. Srinivasa, this Nama is starts with Srinivasa Kalyanam that we celebrate. Srinivasa Kalyanam has got about Srinivasa Kalyanam you can read in Garuda Purana. Garuda Puranam, the last Kanda, Uttara Kanda. Garuda Purana is divided into three parts: Purva, Brahmanda, Uttara. Like these three sections are there. In that, in the Uttarakanda, last part, you have Srinivasa Kalyanam story that has been told in detail. Srinivasa Mahima, Srinivasa significance, and so on. In the Garuda Purana, last part. In that also you can read about Srinivasa. I think it is Purvakanda, Brahmanda, Brahmakanda, and Uttarakanda, something like that. Last part, Uttarakanda, you can read about Srinivasa Kalyanam. So coming back, once it so happened that Goddess Mahalakshmi, now we know, Goddess Mahalakshmi, she resides or she is always present, Bakshasi, Anapayini, always she lives on the chest. That's when during the Samudra Manthana, what happens is, after Vishnu and Lakshmi, they marry each other, Lord, he picks up Goddess Mahalakshmi and she finds a place on the chest. In fact, few of you would have heard the song Dolayate, Dolayate. Dolayate meaning actually the swing, the Unjal Seva that we do even during our marriages and so. So what happens is, when how that picture has come in, when Goddess Mahalakshmi and the Lord picks her up and she seats herself. She sits on the chest of the Lord. So the Lord has got a lot of malas, like you have the Tulsi mala, you have the flower mala, and so a lot of malas, garlands that are there. And the goddess also, she holds a garland in her hand when you change garlands during marriage. She is already seated on the chest. The Lord keeps moving. When we keep moving, what happens is our garlands also move, right? Garland or whatever we wear around our neck, that also keeps moving. So at this time, what happens is, when the garland keeps moving or when the Lord is moving, automatically Goddess Mahalakshmi, who is sitting on the chest of the Lord, she also keeps moving. That is Dolayate, Dolayate. Like a swing, she is also continuously moving. So it is like the exchange of garlands that we do during the marriage ceremony. So that's how today, because Goddess Mahalakshmi and Vishnu, it seems that both of them are swinging. Especially when the Lord is moving, the goddess also moves. So it seems like a swing that is there during the exchange of garlands. So that's how the same ritual is followed in our marriages also that we do take. This is one significance. There can be different stories behind this. So now, as we know, in every avatara, Goddess Mahalakshmi comes in. Rama comes, Sita has to come, Krishna comes, Rukmini comes, and so on. But now what happened is, only during one time, again during the Vamana Avatara, also Goddess Mahalakshmi comes, but Vamana tells her, you go down, because as a brahmachari, to show another woman on the chest is against brahmacharya ashrama, so I cannot do that. So that's when he picks up a small, you can say with his, picks up a small piece, keeps it on his chest, or you can also consider with his the upper garment that was there, Tanga Vastram, he covers the chest so that the goddess cannot be seen. But even at that time also, the goddess does not leave. Now here another question comes is it that only after the Samudra Manthana the goddess found a place on the chest of the Lord? It's not so. Right from the times, earlier times only. Only this was just a Leela which made the event significant. Like for example, Rama and Sita. Rama Avatar. It's that, is it that only during Rama Avatara Rama and Sita met? That is Lord Vishnu and Mahalakshmi met. Before that, didn't they meet? They met in various other avatars also. Or in the case of Krishna and Rukmini, is it that only because of the Krishna Avatara stories, Krishna and Rukmini are in love or whatever, they had a good relationship? It's not like that. It is there right from before. They take different leelas to show the world different instances, different dharmas, and so on. So depending on the period, परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. To follow this principle, different avatars are taken. But that doesn't mean that things don't exist from before. Right? So now Kaushalya and Rama, say for example. Now it's not that during Rama Avatara, Kaushalya is mother of Rama. She showered motherly affection on Rama. Doesn't mean that Rama did not get motherly affection before. He had Vamana Avatara before. And so, so like this, there are different instances, or even in the case of Krishna and so. So here also when we say Lakshmi is always present on the chest of goddess Vishnu, but after the Samudra Manthana event, it has become more significant, or many people know about it and so on. Now what happened is, once it's, so these are different instances where the goddess is present. Now you have this reference in also in the Vishnu Purana. Suppose Vishnu Purana, wherein Vyasa mentions that Nityaivesha Jaganmata Vishnu Shri Anupayini, the same word that Shankara uses here, Anupayini, meaning Nitya, and repeat, Nityaivesha Jaganmata, one who always lives. Jaganmata, who always sits on the chest of the Lord. Jaganmata Vishnu Shri Anupayini. Shrihi, on the chest of Vishnu, she is always there. She is a you can say companion who's always present, who can never be separated from the Lord. Nityavesha Jagannatha Vishnu Shri Anupayini. This is from the Vishnu Purana. So Srinivasa, goddess is always present there, and there was one instance during wherein the goddess was not present on the chest of Vishnu, that is during the Mohini Avatara times. The Mohini Avatara, the Lord himself has assumed a female. So at that time he requests and tells the goddess that already I am a female. On my chest itself, if another female comes and sits, it doesn't look good. It will not be very much, you can say, significant for the world. The world will not take it in a good way, and so on. So at this time, I request you that you please hide yourself. At that time also, goddess actually she does not leave him, but the Lord himself has assumed a female form, right? So it is like she merges himself with the Lord. She is not seen on the chest of the Lord. That's it. That was only Avatara wherein goddess Mahalakshmi was not very significantly seen on the chest of Mohini, but still she was present there. So through this, what is seen is all these are different instances where the goddess is there. But another meaning why, you can say, what is the reason why the goddess has to be present is, if the goddess is not there on the chest of the Lord, whenever devotees like us we go to a temple or we do some worship, the Lord will always look at us. He'll first see, okay, what are the good things done by him, what are the bad things are done, first you punish him, then I will see what has to be done. Whereas when the goddess is present, she through her karuna, through her motherly love, she tells it, no, let him come, he's asking for forgiveness, forgive him. Don't see about his papa karma also. For papa karmas, no doubt we get proper results from that, but at least you can reduce the intensity to some instance. This is again the importance of Sharanagati. That's why whenever you visit any Sannidhi, as I keep telling, you must visit the Sannidhi of the goddess, then only you should go and visit the Sannidhi of the Lord. Because only if the goddess is there, she will tell the Lord that, just as one's mother does, mother and father. Mother will always tell, no, forgive the child, it's okay. That the father's anger or whatever it is, that also cools down to some extent. So the same thing is seen here also. Whereas that's the reason why Goddess Mahalakshmi should always be present on the chest of Vishnu, so that devotees like us will be blessed the karuna of the Lord. Now this doesn't mean that the Lord does not have karuna for his devotees or he is very angry and so on. He is just meant for punishing. That's not the meaning. But through the karuna of the goddess, the intensity of the punishments of the sins that surely reduces. The goddess tells the Lord, he is our own child, our own devotee, we should take care of him. Our own children commit mistakes, we must not punish them at all. Give them some punishment, make them realize, but the intensity should be less. So this is the meaning of Srinivasa. So Shrihi, so one, Shrihi Vasati, Vasati meaning to live. Vasaha, one who has his abode, or the Nivasam is always there. That is, Shri always resides in him. That is Lord Vishnu. That's how he gets his name, Srinivasa. The Nama is Srinivasaya Namaha. All the worlds will be blessed with prosperity alone. So this is the significance of this Nama. Okay. So could everyone follow this Nama? Yeah. Okay.